It's a distress call from a ship called the Nova 5. They crash-landed. I'm trying to establish contact.
Another ship? Brilliant! So it's not aliens then?
No, they're from Earth. Hope they got some spare odds and sods on board. We're a bit short on a few supplies.
Like what?
Cow's milk. Ran out of that yonks ago. Fresh and dehydrated.
What kind of milk are we using now?
Emergency backup supply. We're on the dog's milk.
Dog's milk?
Nothing wrong with dog's milk. Full of goodness, full of vitamins, full of marrowbone jelly. Lasts longer than any other type of milk, dog's milk.
Why?
No bugger to drink it. Plus, of course, the advantage of dog's milk is that when it goes off, it tastes exactly the same as when it's fresh.
Why didn't you tell me, Holly?
What, and spoil your tea?
And welcome. Let's see here. I got a call coming in at the same time. So good thing about these shows, I can do what I want. Nope, that's it. Okay, very good. Let that go. That was an answer machine. Okay, that popped up at the end of that there. Let's get over to this right here for a second. Okay. What I'm kind of excited about here, turn this back up just a little bit. Get my micing set. I think that's better. I can hear it. I got to get some more headphones. I keep saying that. Anyway, and I'm just about a minute too late getting started. I want to try to start on time. It's something City Council can't do, and they should do, is start on time. But I don't have to. That's the beauty of this. No one pays me. I get to be late. But if you want to do a good show, you got to get to a system, and you got to respect that system and do it. So, and I'm just working at trying to get into training myself in that. And I was going to be on the other day, but they had a problem. The site I use was under repair. Something was wrong. So, but anyway, if I get on 2 or 3 times a week right now, that might be good. I still don't hear myself quite right here. Let's see. I don't know. That's, I think that's better. Okay. For me, I don't know about out there. Let's see. Might be worse for anybody's listening. But what I want to go over is code compliance. That's something that I'm about to do another video on. And also, I just did a video. It's on my website. You can see the website. Well, let's go right here. Okay. There's the website. fwdistrict5.com. Underneath the sign. And I'll tell you, I am so pleased with the turnout at the comment meeting. I don't know if these signs played a role or not, but something actually changed. We've seen people down there that were, and a lot of them had, they had charts and stuff. So this video's on my website. I edited it, got out parts of it, put on there. I couldn't help but take a few swipes of the other people that were against free speech on the video. I put a few remarks on there, but in the end, you can learn a lot from what these people say. And this is another reason why we need to return free speech. City Council. And the same reason when I used to do my Blog Talk radio show, the caller ins and the people that talk, I learn from them a lot. They say things that I learn from them. That's another reason why it's so important to return this. Not only that I have what I want to say, or you might want to say, the freedom to say it if we want to say it, we need that. But also, listen to what other people say sometimes. It's very educational, and you learn from it. And I don't like that being taken away from me, and it has been taken away. So I'm really up after seeing that. And there's so many reasons why we need a mayor. And I really think it's going to take a lot to do it. It's going to be major. It's going to be people coming together across the city to do it. But Mayor Parker needs to be removed. She don't need to be able to finish her term, not voted out, but removed. What she's done to this city is a sin, and she shouldn't have that. She should have it on her record that she was recalled. Now, if you get Mayor Parker out, and you actually get enough people to do this and force us enough to get her out of there, and we put in a mayor that's a real mayor, I have a list of things that I think most people would agree to. And if we put these things in order and place, they will protect us down the road from another mayor like this. And that we don't have to work this hard to do it either. I think it'll help our city. So I'd like to lay that list out. I think a lot of people will agree with it. I'm going to go over some of it right now. little bit. And if they disagree with it, I want their points of view. That's how I learn too. Okay, so I'm open for either way, but what's the best for us at the end of the day should count. And one thing with a new mayor, and I think Ann Zetters may be thinking about taking a run for this, and I'll actually support Ann if she does. She was there. She used to be a council member, and she spoke out against Mayor Parker taking away our free speech too. So I'll support Ann. I don't think she has quite all the power, but can't always get all of what you want. But I'll take anything at this point would be better than what we got. And man, Ann is doing some of the things that in my when I vote for a candidate, I've got a list of things to go by. One thing is the candidate has to take questions, has to answer questions. You know, Deborah Peoples, the one that got in for council in District 5, offered $100 before she got in to answer 5, and she wouldn't do it. Even offered to put money in her campaign, and she wouldn't take questions. So, you know how bad she doesn't need to be there. But never mind. I'm going after the main cancer first. We take the cancer out first and start there and work out, and we can change the city. It doesn't have to be like Chicago. It doesn't have to be like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. And believe me, I've seen those cities back in the 90s when I was on tour a lot. I had the privilege of going halfway around the world and seeing Europe and Canada and these cities repeatedly. And I saw Fort Worth back then too in the 80s and 90s. And that's the Fort Worth I'd like to see again. And you know, when a city gets big, it becomes corrupt. That just seems to be the normal thing. I'd like for Fort Worth to kind of be something different than all the other cities. Maybe a big city that's not so corrupt. It's going to be some. That's just part of our karma, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. But there's always going to be a little bit of everything. But as bad as it is now, it's unacceptable. Another point of view I got from a friend was he was saying what happens a lot of times is that if you open up a Starbucks on the corner and then you got people lining up outside to get coffee and overflow all day long, what you do is you open up another Starbucks then and accommodate the people. And it's about the same when the city gets so big to accommodate the people that it should split off and create another city. Smaller cities have a chance of keeping more corruption out, more control, and people more involved, I believe, than the big ones. But I don't know. Maybe we can change that theory or that thought. I don't see why not. We can make a big one, be honest, too, if we can get enough people on board for this. So, and one of the biggest cancers here that I'm learning, I'm going to do some more investigating, and they're called the Fort Worth Way. Now, what I understand from some other people that's been around before I got involved, they told me there used to be a group called the 7th Street Gang. And they're the ones that ran Fort Worth over the council members, and they probably were it, whatever. There always seems to be a group that runs the city. It's a multi-million dollar, it's a $1 billion business money. They know what they're doing. They are crooks. So they got a good thing going, and they're going to want to keep it, and they're going to fight to keep it. But I believe Fort Worth Way is our new ones that I'm going to do some more investigating and see, but that's what I'm understanding right now. And I like to do an anti-Fort Worth Way because the Fort Worth Way they're talking about is where they're in control and we serve them. And that's the Fort Worth Way under Matty Parker. They don't serve us. We serve them. We looked up to them. And that just brought to mind the last few council meetings. These people are so conceited. They got big pictures of them on the screen when you go in. When people start coming in, it's showing slideshows and it's big old posters of them like they're celebrities. They're sickening. These people are sick in the head. That's what happens. You get a little bit of power. You never had power. It goes to their head. And that's what's happened to our city. We let people get in, never had power before. And I'll tell you, it can happen to any of us. I've been through it. I experienced it working for the Rolling Stones, having those laminates I wear around my neck says all access and be able to walk right past the people right on backstage. You know, it's like you feel special. You feel like you're above everybody, you know. And when I was younger, that sure went to my head a bit. But, you know, at this time, I don't care now. None of that means anything. I'm glad I got past that stage of my life. I'm glad I got older. And that's the kind of people we need for our mayor and council. I think we need people that are older and not seeking a career for themselves. These people are young. They're still working on careers for themselves at the same time. They're taking advantage. They don't know what they're doing, too. It's just a combination of things. But if we put older people in office, I'm not saying a younger person couldn't do it, couldn't be it. But we do need some older people there. It's perfect for someone like that that's retired. Deborah Peoples is older. She's retired, but she has no decency. She shouldn't be there. She has no decency. If she had any kind of decency about her, she would have never ran for that spot. She would have first shown up at bond meetings, budget meetings, answer questions, doing that kind of stuff. Stand up for our rights, not vote against free speech. Now, I'm not saying older people can be good either. It just goes to show right there. Either way, just because they're older don't mean they're going to be good either. But I think that's the best field. Someone that's retired, especially people that's been in business. That's the perfect thing. They know how the fundamentals of business. And these people do not know the fundamentals of business because they never ran a business before. You can't, even the easiest job can be hard if you've never done it before. But the fundamentals of business, that's the thing. And when you get someone older like that, it'll help our city run better. But I guess I got way off track. We need to put in a mayor. And if we put in the right mayor, here's where we start at requesting. Let's put term limits on the ballot. Let's put, and above all, campaign contributions on the ballot. They gave Maddie $2 million. Now, last time, after the last election, when she protected Mayor Price from going to jail and paid $5.5 million to Police Fitzgerald not to testify so that Mayor Betsy Price does not go to jail. And that's what happened right in front of our eyes. I thought she was going to quit then because she really don't care about this job. She don't care about being mayor. She's got her eyes on higher things, and she doesn't really care. She doesn't have that mentality for it. She doesn't need to be in politics at all. But so I figured she was going to step down. That was her job. That's why they put her there. She was placed there to protect Betsy Price. That's why they put $1 million in her campaign the first time she ran. So she had double anybody and all the the support and that. So yeah, definitely. They put her there for that reasoning. That's the key reasoning. Not only that, she'd also do what as a puppet should do. She's a good puppet. But also, I thought she was going to run for that. And then the next election came around and she ran. And I thought I didn't understand that exactly why. I thought, well, maybe they didn't have something open right then. Hang in here, and then we're going to find a spot in a Senate seat or something, We can have it cushy and make money and be powerful and all that kind of good crap. Be one of the old boys, even though she's supposed to be a girl. Anyway. But anyway, that didn't happen. And I thought, well, I didn't, I was just trying to figure out what other reasons. And then it came to me, or I became aware that they put $2 million into her campaign fund. The first time, 1 million. Second time, $2 million into her campaign fund. Now, the people she's running against didn't have $200 to put out for signs, but yet they put $2 million into her campaign funds. Now, the reason I did that, and this is how the payoff. I didn't see this coming. I didn't see the thing with Fitzgerald coming either. I didn't see the payoff coming to a hit. So somebody's saying, I've been at this for 10 years and I got hit between the eyes with a few things and things are still coming, that I'm surprised about, or I will be surprised about a little bit. But I didn't see that coming with Fitzgerald, the payoff with our money. I didn't know we could do that or people would allow such a thing, but they do. Because they've been dummied down from schools and media and everything else. They've been dummied down not to pay attention to this kind of stuff. And that's what we got to get out, this kind of crap. Paying off Fitzgerald. There's no way in God's creation that makes any sense. You fire the police chief and turn around and give him $5.5 million. She ought to have to explain that. That's just common sense. I mean, that's what it should be, but it's not happening right now. But anyway, I am pleased that last meeting that gave me hope there is a sign. But okay, they gave her $2 million this time. And what happens? The reason it goes this way, one of the reasons I see, these people that give her that money they put into her campaign funds is a write-off for them. So what they do is they use write-offs is where they get, and they write it off to her. It goes to her. Now, the money left over from your campaign funds go to charity. She has several charities she's involved with. She probably has some of her own. So it'll go into her charity or someone close to her. And through that charity, it will filter right back out a whole A lot of that. It'll filter in a lot of people's pockets. It'll be shared around a lot, but a big hunk of it will probably go right into her pocket right there. And that's the way it'll feed out. There's no reason, no other reason to put $2 million into her campaign fund. So on the ballot, campaign contribution limits. And I've got a chart laid out for that. It makes sense. I've been doing it long enough. Now, everything I put out, the numbers I put out and everything, they're debatable. If people think it's going to be a little bit more or less, it's debatable. But I want the general public, not the establishment's word. I want the general, just the general people out there that's working and living that can give an honest what they think answer. And we'll take the majority and go with that. But I believe what I've got laid out would work for a start. Also, even if we put it in place, like the term limits. Right now, I'm seeing. I say, well, we vote every 2 years. 24 months is long enough. I mean, that's fine to do it like a review. 3 terms are to be enough. That seems to be a pretty good number. But now, also, even if we put this in and we find that we don't like that, we can change it. We can come back and change it. It can be changed. So these are starting points as well. Get the citizens' point of view and everything, and then they also realize that these are just starting points. If you don't like it, we'll change it. But I think this will work good. 3 2-year terms. After the third one, they need to step down for 1 and then reopen the door again. That's okay with me because I don't want to lose a good council member if we get a bad one in and another one's willing to come back. If we get a good one in or whatever, at least if they step down for 1, it gives them a break, a vacation, fresh. And if they want to come back, they're regenerated. They can come back for another a go around and be very productive because they've had time to clear their mind of everything in the past and reload, kind of say. So I think it'd be good mentally, all the way around. Good for us. Good for all the way around. I think that's good. But if it's not with the people and we see we don't like it, then we can change it. That's why I want something we can change it. Okay, but try it and then change it. But that's putting things in place and we can't change it. I don't like that. But anyway, that's on that. The campaign contributions. $150,000. If you can't win the mayor election, if you can't get your word out with 150 grand right now, as income and prices, everything right now, 150 grand is enough. You don't need to be mayor. You don't know how to manage money. I'll just put it that way. You simply do not know how to manage money. So, and now the candidates that can use it, if we put the campaign, everybody has 150 is the most they can put. They're running against that. The one who can manage their money the best, that's the person we probably want. They'll manage our money the best. That's for one. It's like a qualification to see who can do the best. It's like it is competing, like a race, a foot race. Who can run the fastest? That's what the winner shows. Who can do the best? So, 150,000. Like I said there again, we can change the numbers if you don't think it's right. But I don't want to put people in by money. I want to put them in by who wants it, who's going to work for it, who has the best qualifications. I want to see who's going to stand out. I don't want them to buy I'm tired. They bought the office with Maddie, and they're using it to funnel money through. So that's why she needs to be taken out right now. She really needs to be taken out. But anyway, with a good mayor, we could put these on the ballot. Now, also remember, we're not doing them. We're just putting them on the ballot so that people can go vote on this. We're still not saying this is what these are not ordinances or anything that we're putting in place. This is something that we're putting to the people of the city to make a decision on because our city, we live here. We got to get people more involved and exercising their voting rights is what I got to do. And this is one way to do it. And but that's 2 of the things we can do with the mayor. There's another thing, Mayor. We can mend the charter. It needs some mending. There's a few things on it need to be in, but one thing is the recall needs to be mended from 20%. They got that set up so high, they know they're protected. This is another one of those safeguards for them, but not for us. Let's change it to a safeguard for us. It needs to be mended to how many votes you got elected by plus 1. So if you ran for office and you won with 100 votes and you're in your district and you got 100 votes and that won the race for you. Now, if they want to do a recall and get you out, all they should need is a petition with 100 signatures plus 1. And that should be enough to put you on the ballot for a recall. That should be substantial right there. I think that's good. But everything's up for changing or whatever. But I think if we make it easier to take them out, the more in line they're going to be. They're so protected. And there's a lot of other rules that need to be gone in and rechanged. Zoning needs to be remodified, code compliance, which this is what today, what time I got left now, we're going to go on what just happened today, or just the other day. Let me see if I can find I'll put this up for one thing. Now, that's from some time ago. I'm going out and I stopped 3 citations. This guy was going to give a citation. I stopped his butt from doing it by calling the director's office. Anyway, look at it. He's got that raised up. Look, he has no business looking underneath that at all. This is what they do. They look under things and everything, and I got this picture of him. This is what we need to change in code compliance. They invade your privacy. We don't work for them. They work for us. And there's a whole new rules that need to be written out. And number one should be put in there that they should not have the privilege to lie. And they do. And I've been at the city manager's office today, too. I've recorded my calls from the city manager's office. And I'm complaining because I've got a complaint with code right now. We've got a case. And it's from this right here. This house right here. And you can see that little sign in front of that. It says, don't block the garage. He's moved that sign now because it's a joke. Don't block the garage. That's not a garage. That's a house. You go around the other side and you come to the front door and there's a person living there. He's renting a place. I filmed him. You can see inside. You can see the bed, TV, all that stuff before you close the door on me real quick. But I filmed him. And he wanted to rent this out too. So he's renting out 2 properties here is what he's doing. And this is zoned for 1. I said, no, you're not going to do that. We zone this for 1 property. Now that needs to be opened back up to a garage. This would be a beautiful, ain't that nice? He's got it looking nice. I'll give him, he's got it looking really good, clean. But see the 2 mailboxes too up front. He's got 2 mailboxes. This needs to be changed back around to a garage. Actually, it'd be a perfect garage to put a garage door on this end and the other end. That's the kind of garage I've always wanted, but we've got room. That way you could drive in or you can open both doors and drive straight through your garage out to the back. So you got almost an acre of land back here behind them. We do too. I have a tract of land behind me and you go straight through and bring stuff in and out too as well. And I thought that'd be great. 2 garage doors. That's what I'd want. But anyway, you need to put a garage door there, turn that back into a garage, and then we're okay. And then that looks good. That's nice. My house don't look that good. My house is run down somewhat. It needs repairs. I'm working on the backside now. But I also told the city manager's office, I said, I'm going to work at my pace, not code's pace. And there's a lot. I'm doing some remodeling. And the part they're complaining about. Now, so what happened was when I turned this guy in, he called and turned me in on that. Now, this is the thing. When I had a problem with code, they came out to me. When they came up to my house, actually I saw him come up in the yard and I went out and I thought he was there to talk to me because I just called him about them and I hadn't got no answer. What was the deal here? I wanted to report on this. And I thought the guy was there. The code was for that. He wasn't. He was there to come after me. And so I told him clearly, I said, first, we're going to talk about this case first. Then we will address my case. But we're not jumping to my case and not talk about this one first. He didn't. I said, you go back to your supervisor and tell your supervisor what I just said. We're going to discuss this one first, then mine. Well, I guess he didn't like that. He left. Also, I'm making a video of this I'm going to put out here today or the next day. I'm making a video now. I got this stuff. He asked me on my house if he could post a sign up by the door. And I said, no, because he didn't want to talk about this. But right up then we weren't going to discuss anymore. Anyway, I said, no. He asked me if he could put it over by my garage. And I said, no. And he said, can you put it out by the street? And I said, well, that's city property. I have no control of that. So he posted a sign. I've got the picture and everything, which will be in the video I'm working on. I'm going to put this little documentary together, all this on the video here. Next day or so and release it out there. The sign, he posted right by my mailbox at the bottom there. Is where he posted that. And I got a picture of that and everything. And so I let him do that. Okay. I mean, I don't have that's city property. I have no control of that. He put whatever he wants to there. It's beyond my control. But anyway, he posted a sign there, but he did not come on my property and post it. He asked. I said, no, he did not. While I was gone the next day, he came on my property and he took pictures. And he took pictures inside my house through the window, through a door, glass door window. He took pictures inside and on my property. Now, if he didn't have the right, when I said no to come put that sign on my door, what gives him the right to come back and take pictures inside my house and stuff? I'd really like to know that. Well, when I got that in the mail, because I'm waiting for an answer. When I told him, I said, tell your supervisor what I said, and that's where we dropped it at. They need to answer me about this one. I filed a case. It was filed first. You're supposed to get an answer in 72 hours. I've still not received an answer. Days. So I've asked, so anyway, what I did was he left. I thought about it for a day or two, and I called him. And I said, come on out, and you need to point out what you want me to take care of. And he said, well, yeah, I had planned on coming by your house to do inspection on Wednesday. So luckily I did call him when I did, thank goodness, or God, or whatever. I called him right before that because he had done an inspection and wrote tickets probably right then. So he said he couldn't come out that weekend to come out next week. So we scheduled it for just the other day, Monday of this week here, where we're at here on Monday at 9:30. So I'm ready for him to come out, and he doesn't show. And no calls, no nothing. And I tried to call code compliance, and I told them, I asked the girl there, could she verify what day it was? I want a record showing that I have called about this, and she wouldn't even tell me what day it was and hung up on me. And this crap, I've been through it before a long time ago, but now I know who I'm dealing with. So she hung up. So I've called the city manager's office. The receptionist for the city manager's office is outstanding. When he does anything, it's not his place. He's supposed to pass on the information to his job. I think he does an outstanding job. Does a great job. Manager, no. But the receptionist, yes. Whoever's his aide or who's ever answering, I like a lot. And I called to tell him what happened so that I'd have a report that I'm addressing this. Okay, I don't want to start getting tickets without some kind of proof that I am addressing this. Because I know code compliance and they have the privilege to lie. And I've been through this. And they're not going to railroad me this time. But anyway, I called them that. I called the code officer yesterday. Well, actually, he called me yesterday. That's what it was. Because I called Monday, no answer, no returns, anything. So I figured, well, they're going to bluff it off or move on. A lot of times they do that with me because they don't want to. There's easier targets for them. This is a game to them. They're looking for targets. They prey on the low income, the disabled, and the seniors, and they prey on these people, and they intimidate them, and run shotgun over them, and it's wrong the way they treat people. I've got footage of this. I'll put in that video. You'll see the handicap and what they've done. It's unreal. But it all goes back to a mayor. Number one, we had to have a mayor, and then we can get code compliance remodified. Okay, so I know what the problem is, and I done made my point that if I get one citation from code, I'm gonna blast Parker like she's never been blasted before. You're gonna see signs all over the city about that communist bitch. You're gonna see them, and I'm gonna blame her for sticking code on me, and I'm gonna blast them all over the city. So you watch and see. But I done told the city manager I've got record of all this, but the code compliant, he called me yesterday, left a message. I called him back, and he said that he was Monday, he was ill. Yeah, I said, well, you're not going to get me sick, are you? And he said, no, I just had sinus problems. So it's not like it wasn't real ill. I had sinus problem, didn't feel too good, but still not good enough to contact if he had any other appointments or me to say that he couldn't make it, or have the office contact his appointments, or someone, the manager or whoever of them. They all should be contacted, or maybe they were. Maybe I'm the only one that wasn't. I don't know. But I was not contacted to let them know that he's not going to be here. Now, that's disrespectful right there. That's wrong. Code needs to be under another management that knows how to run a business and treat people right. The second thing, the code officer, his cell phone, the voicemail is not set up, so you don't take voicemail. This is not the private market. This is a city. That voicemail should be set up. He should check those calls and respond to people. That's why we need someone to manage code compliance. It's unbelievable the way it runs. It's just there's no one running it with any knowledge of knowing how to. That's a problem. We let people get in office that don't have no qualifications, and people in spots in our city that don't know what they're doing. They've never been in those spots and they got put there. So, and they're making large sums of money, and they're not qualified. They're incompetent for these jobs. So, but anyway, I called him nicely and I said, well, come on out. How about today? And he did. 11 o'clock. We set an appointment for 11 today. And he came out, and I had my camera and my list and a few things I wanted him to answer before we started going any which way at all. I want them to know this is going to be a two-way street, not a one-way. I ask questions, you answer. You ask questions, I answer. But you're not going to dictate the questions, and I answer and I do. That's a one-way street. We're not going on a one-way. It's going to be a two-way street. But anyway, I got him on film, and I asked him. I said, first thing I made my notes so I get the most important thing to set this up. I asked him, the first time you came out here, when I saw you the first time you've been here, and this is clarifying that this is the first time he's been on the been here, that he asked me about putting that note up. And I said no. So he verifies that was the first time he was here. So that verifies he must have took the pictures afterwards. If this was not the first time here, he couldn't take the pictures. He must have been here before. So he's been here after that, after he was told no, he took the pictures. So I wanted to clarify that, and that's on film. Definitely on film. Then I asked him, and he was hesitant about this. You can see him. That's what's beautiful. If anybody knows anybody that's in an area that has any kind of problem with code compliance, get a camera or get your phone camera, whatever, film it. That's all you got to do. Film it. No, But anyway, I have the camera on him, and I asked him, and he's hesitated about that, but he finally admits, and he put it by the mailbox. So he was told no, not to go on the property. And he did anyway. I asked him, I said, well, what is your supervisor's name? And he wouldn't answer. He wouldn't give me a supervisor's name. So this is all reported to the city manager's office and to Shannon, the assistant director, and also along with the threats that any citations from these people, we're going to war. I mean, we're going to war. That's all there is to it, because he should be able to easily say his supervisor's name. If he can't say his supervisor, then he's incompetent, shouldn't be on this job. Now, I'm not going after the officer, even though he's working as he's taught to work, as he's trained to work. And when you go look at code compliance on the city website and go look at their code ranger and the stuff they're doing, we need to change this to code service, and we don't need no code rangers at all. Not necessary. A new set of mind, a new way of living in Fort Worth, a new Fort Worth way is treating people with respect. The Fort Worth way we have now is treat people with no respect. It's all for the government and government control. That's the Fort Worth way right now. That is, when you see anything Maddie Parker's doing the Fort Worth way, that's government control. Communism is what they are. They're no different. I mean, that's it. So anyway, I'm anxious to make this video. I'll put it out with some stuff about code compliance that I have accumulated. He has ran off. I have my case number. I went to code's case numbers to see about the one I reported across the street, the house, the two there, says case closed. Well, I got questions. I want to know, did he ask him any questions? Did he take pictures over there? But he didn't stay around. These were questions I wanted to ask him, and he wouldn't stay around to answer that. He ran off. So I don't know. But right now, it's not going to be an unfair. I don't care, my house can fall to the ground before we do anything. This is more important than anything, is establishing a sense of respect from our elected officials, hired employees. In theory, they work for us. We're to be over them in theory, but it's not necessary. If we are treated with respect and equally, then we are their bosses when we're treated that way. But when we're not treated with respect and equally on fair ground, they're over us, and that's where we're at. So anyway, as I like to leave it with Maddie to say, I'm done. She's just too young to be a mayor, I'll tell you. That's Maddie Parker right there.
Enough.
You can't take
Don't follow me out. You're done. I don't want you in my face.
No, ma'am.
I want you to be done.
No, ma'am. I'm not done. I'm not done, ma'am. I am not done.
I'm a citizen and I'm not done. This is a public building. You do not own it. You do not own it.
You don't have
You
a
do
right.
not own it,
I'm
man.
done.
You do not own it. This is a public building.